cactus and succulent growers, I'm Lynn. Welcome to Desert Plants of Avalon. In today's video I'm going to be watering some very sort of shriveled cacti and succulents for the very first time after the winter. It's still February and I'm not going to be watering any of the desert cacti such as these here that are in the polytunnel until April time, unless we have a very warm March. However, today I have got some other cacti such as my epiphytic cacti, such as my epiphyllums down here that are starting to come into bud already, the very beginnings of buds, and they're also starting to get a bit shrivelly, so they are going to need a wee bit of water today. And I've also got some succulents that are very shriveled as well, so I have to water them. And as you can see here, this is one of my epiphyllums. It's very wrinkly and crinkly. And epiphytic cacti can take a bit of watering at this time of year because they are the first that produce buds, for me anyway, at sort of February time and March time. So I'm going to give them a wee kick by giving them just a little bit of water to stop them from shriveling. And I don't want to become too shriveled and they get like lettuce and then they don't produce buds. So as they're at the very beginnings of that sort of pre-bud stage, some of them have got buds. And I notice when they're getting ready to produce buds because they sort of get this, I'll just turn this one round here. You'll see the outer edges of the leaf starts to take on a little bit of a pinkness, and that's when it's sort of getting ready for the buds. I've also got my Pegasus, Epiphyllum Pegasus underneath that has got this lovely red tint to the leaves, and it goes redder at the edges when it's getting ready to produce buds. And there is actually, well, you won't be able to see with the camera, but there is very tiny beginnings of little pink hairiness coming through at the tip, so they're starting to produce buds already. And the same with this one as well, my other epiphyllum. It's got, you can see there's tiny little buds just starting to come through. So a bit of a kick with a bit of watering. I don't want them to get too shriveled and then they don't produce the buds. And also with my succulents as well, I've got some crassulas that are totally wrinkled. And I always prefer to hold back watering cacti until until the April time. But as I've mentioned in a few other videos, the only time I would water cacti when it's sort of late winter time, before waiting till April, is when they're very shriveled. I'm holding back on the desert cacti because although we've had some nice sunny weather and it's been very mild, March can still get very cold and we can have snow. So with my climate here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, I do have to play it careful and probably just get careful with the watering a bit longer. So probably April time I'll be doing a complete water of the whole of this collection, including all my desert cacti. And what I'm going to be doing here today is as well watering some of these. These are some of my crassulas and they're producing buds, as you can see. That one's trying to flower, but it's very shriveled, very wrinkly. These look really wrinkly, like crinkly, and also some of these as well. I mean, look at this one. It's just very lettuce like, has to be watered. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. And this crassula here, for example, look how dehydrated it is. So although I prefer to hold back on watering, these are desperados, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. Now, I always like to, when I first give them their very first watering after the winter, I know it is sort of still winter, sort of early spring in between, I start them off with just water. And the second watering I give them, I put a wee bit of tomato feed in just to help to encourage buds. I particularly do this with all the desert cacti. So although the epiphyllums are starting to come into bud anyway, I'm still going to hold off the feeding. And that's because they can put, if I was to fertilise this sort of too early stage, then it could encourage them to probably come into a bit too much active growth and too much fast growth, and it's still these cold temperatures. I prefer to just hold back. So the next watering I give them, probably in a couple of weeks, I'll be safe to give them a wee bit of tomato feed. They're starting to produce buds anyway, so it's not going to make any difference. A tomato feed helps to kick flowering, but usually before they produce the buds. So this is what I'm going to be doing, and I've got my wonderful fiance Hansi behind the camera who is filming me, so I've got my hands free. So do go over and give Hansi a big thumbs up, and I'll link Hansi's YouTube channel up above. Do go over and subscribe to him. And I've got what I like to do here. Normally I'd use one of them big hose lock pumps to reach all the ones at the back, but because I'm not going to be watering any of these ones I can reach with just a little handy watering can. So I like to fill up a larger watering can and just do it this way. And as I say, I'm just giving them enough to stop them from shriveling, because the epiphyllums are the ones that come into early bud for me. So there's enough there, and you can see how shriveled this is. I don't want to go too heavy, so that's enough just to give that one. Look how wrinkled it is. Can't hold on off any more with this. And then I'm going to do all of these. The hanging basket ones tend to wrinkle the most because they're higher up and they get more sort of the heat from the roof. So that's enough for that one. And then this one as well. And if you've got desert type of cacti and you're not sure if you should water them or not, it does depend completely on your climate. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and it's, you know, it can get very cold still, and we have a lot of humidity issues. So that's why I like to keep the plants as dry as possible until the spring really arrives. So that's a bit of the example with the epiphyllums, and these ripsalis as well. This is one of my ripsalis. As you can see, it's very dehydrated, and that's why I've had to give this a wee bit of water too. I'm going to be watering these epiphyllums that are under the table here, just a tiny bit, just to stop them from shriveling. As I say, they're just starting to form the very beginnings of buds, and I could only see these when I got my magnifying loupe, so I know that these are totally bone dry, and they can take a bit more moisture as well. If I was to water the desert cacti at the moment at this time of year, and we happen to get some more colder weather, a bit of water going on there, but that doesn't matter because they'll drink it up from the bottom. It's just enough to stop them from shriveling, and they will dry out pretty quick. As I say, I've got the door open because it's been lovely and bright, sort of lovely sunny weather. It gets very, very hot in here, and this is sort of late afternoon at the moment. This is always the best time to water plants, cacti and succulents, towards the end of the sort of the end of the afternoon, because they take up water better during the night time. So I'm not going to worry about water there. Happy days. So now I'm going to be watering some of these succulents, and I have made a whole video on should you water cacti in the winter, and I go into the whole reasons on how it can depend on so many different issues. So do go and watch that video after this one, because this is the time of year when you're thinking, should I or shouldn't I? So watch that video after this one. The link will be up above. So there we are, this crassula, and as I say, it is coming into bud, so it is one that does need a good drink. This one as well, this crassula as well, look at that, you can see it's like wrinkly. So these are so needing a good drink as well. Them ones sort of look okay. I'm literally just watering the ones that are wrinkly. This porticularia, it's very soft. And funny enough, all my aloes, agaves and gasterias are pretty much okay. They haven't really been shriveling, which is good. And this one is very desperate. So that's all I need to do on that table just for now. And I'm going to give this a wee bit of water as well, this crassula, a few different types in the bowl here, because this is very wrinkly. Now this one here is a bulbine, and you can see how it's gone very brown. It's meant to be green, and it goes very brown when it's very dehydrated and with drought, but it will soon green up again. And I'm going to give this a wee bit of water as well. That's going to fatten up and green. It looks very much like an aloe, but it's not. It's its own little plant. Lovely bulbine Colchescans. So there we go. That's all I'm watering today. My string of tears and pearls pretty much okay as well. They're a little bit shriveled, but I'm going to hold back on them than that one. So just a little quick video today. I'm watering some of my cacti succulents for the very first time after the winter, because it's nearly after the winter. But do stay tuned in a month or so, a few weeks, when I'll be giving all of these their very first watering for the first time. And I am so looking forward to that day. I normally start them off with just a mini pre-water, so do stay tuned for that video, probably in a month's time. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. For lots more tips and tricks, then don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow me on Insta, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon for lots of flower photographs, and certainly lots of flower photographs when all these come into flower. And check my website out for blogs to see what I'm getting up to on there as well. I'll be doing monthly blogs, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered day.